are. Now we're live.
We're live, all the way live. Woo!
Oh, I knew this was going to be a fun time. We're having fun already. Tracy, it's so good to see you.
It's good to see you, Sarah. We're helping change the world, aren't we? We're changing the world.
That's right. Yeah, so we can just kind of hang for a second because I know we are broadcasting to my channels and I didn't get a notification today that Facebook wasn't connected. So hello, Facebook. Hello, LinkedIn. Hello, YouTube. And hello to Tracy's Facebook and YouTube as well. So this is cool because we are broadcasting from StreamYard and we can be in all the places at once, which, they used to tell us you can't be in more than one place at a time and look at the internet. Here we can.
Making a liar. There we go. Now it's making them liars.
We can do that. So the intention of this live, I did one similar to this last month with my friend Sally, and it was just really fun and cool. It kind of reminds me of my podcasting days where we can just kind of get to know each other a little bit, talk about some relevant stuff. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we won't be keeping anybody more than about a half an hour because people are busy. They got stuff to do. So we're going to do this and I'm going to interview Tracy and then Tracy's going to ask questions right back at me and see what I come up with today. And hopefully it's different than I talked to Sally about last month. So, I was just thinking it might be kind of cool to do this kind of once a month, get somebody on and just trade info. So, and it's helpful because I'm sure people on Tracy's channels didn't see my live last month. So
no, they didn't. And I always talk about, we get the opportunity to meet so many amazing women, not just with like what we do in our businesses and our speaking, but with the coaching part of what we do, we get to meet so many amazing women. And I like that this is a great way for us to introduce these amazing women to each other's audiences so easily because it takes a village, man. It takes a village.
Sure does. All right. Well, let's jump in. If you have comments, I should be able to see them. But if you're on Facebook, you may need to leave your name or log in at some point because sometimes that doesn't work right with StreamYard. If you're watching the replay, make sure you drop comments in and use the hashtag replay because, again, we are all busy and you might not have caught us here at 2 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah.
So let's get it started. Tracy, tell us who you are and what you do.
All right. Well, I am the confidence coach and I equip women entrepreneurs who are ready to quit on their business, punch self-doubt and failure in the face so they can use their setbacks as launch pads to success and build the business they've always wanted. I do that. Like everyone's definition of success is different. So we really, really specify what success means to them and how they want their lives to look instead of making it cookie cutter what other people think. That's what I get to do.
I love that because that regardless of what other people think, that's huge. Yeah. That's huge these days. So who is your main client that you work with?
I work with women business owners. That's who I am. I've been in business for myself since 2001. I had a computer networking business, and then I have a martial arts school business, and now I have a coaching business. And so when I was raising my boys and, maintaining my relationship with my husband, my kids, building a business, growing a business, exiting a business, starting a new business. I know I have all the t-shirts, right? Plus I'm a military spouse. My husband, we were separated a lot. So there was like some geographically single things going on. So I have all the shirts. I understand exactly what everyone's trying to balance. Women entrepreneurs are trying to balance. And, there's nothing in the world that makes you feel guiltier than like growing your business and feeling like you're neglecting your family or vice versa. So that's really where I get to help everyone manage that. The women entrepreneurs really manage that, define their outcome from the beginning so they can choose, and then just teach them some of the things that I learned when I was doing this with my family. Now I'm a Mimi. So now I get to do it with my grandbabies too, and teach my kids how to do that. So it's exciting.
Yeah. So when you're talking to the women entrepreneurs that you work with, the business owners, what is their primary superpower?
that they can handle more than they think. Like their
Mm.
superpower is they're already more resilient than they think. They just don't give themselves credit for the things that they already do. That's their biggest superpower.
Yeah, how does that show up? How do they know that they have that superpower? If they were questioning maybe, well, that's not me. I don't.
Yeah, so that
I,
that's where
I
it
hear
gets
I hear that
hard.
because it's like
Yeah,
they think they're at this level, but they're really maybe way up here, and they don't realize.
yeah, and
How does that show up?
it shows up by not giving them credit for the results that they've achieved because they're comparing themselves to someone else's version of success. It shows up trying to compare themselves to the kind of mother other mothers are because their life is different. I used to do this when I was in the military as a single soldier. I was in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. My husband was here, but I was technically a single mom, and I would judge myself so harshly because I would pull in to the housing area at the end of the day, and I would see all the moms hanging out in the driveways, just hanging out with their kids, knowing I didn't have that kind of time. Like I got in the garage, got dinner done, got this because I had to be up at 4:30 in the morning. I used to give myself so much grief and guilt over that. So it's going to show up as guilt. It's going to show up as little as anger. It's going to show up as feeling not as good as. So those are the things you're going to hear and see.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about that in terms of a superpower. Like what they're actually good at is something that they feel like they're
Yeah.
failing at, which brings to the next question is what is the thing they struggle with? And you mentioned a bunch of them, but if you had to distill it out, oops, we'll put that back.
Yeah.
If you had to distill it out, like what is that thing that like you mentioned guilt and you mentioned balancing and you mentioned juggling and you mentioned
We all feel like we're the worst, most horrible mother in the world.
yeah.
Right? Like that's the one thing they struggle with, like feeling like they're not ruining their children and they're not ruining their families and they're not being selfish. So that's where like that's the ball that they struggle with is how do I do this and do that? You know, how do I get that done?
Yeah, doing all the things because they're already doing so many things,
Mhm. And
but
then
it's
you
always
have like
not
I
all
think
the
the
things.
movie The Bad Moms. You remember that movie that came out, Bad Moms?
I didn't see that
You
one, I
didn't see that? Oh my god.
don't know.
They have this big
We
conference.
stopped watching movies somewhere in the mid
Did
2000s
you?
because we saw all the movies.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this is one, like, that I love that they did because it was, like, bad moms and, it had the perfect moms versus the moms that were, like, barely hanging it together, the hair, all that, and they were running for the PTA, and they have this meeting, and she's, like, gives them permission to not be perfect, and everyone starts standing up and confessing the things that they do, and the one mom, "I give my kids Benadryl even when they're not sick." Like
Oh, man.
confessing all these like horrible mom things they were doing to find out the struggle is real for all of us. We all have those moments, right? We all have those moments. And so there is no such thing as the perfect mom.
Yeah, I think I said something the other day. I was like, it was Working Parents Day or something like that, and it's if
Mhm.
you're not maybe that's coming up. Well, that might be a sneak preview for
Yeah,
what I'm
we did do our
posting
marketing
on
thing
Working
today.
Parents Day. If you're not feeling guilty, you're not doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I always tell my clients, it's always the mother's fault anyway. So just like go in knowing it's going to be your fault. It changes your whole mindset. Like, I tell them all the time, like, I used to freak out when the boys were small. Like, I'm the horrible mother. They won't ever remember. They don't remember. They're not going to remember. They're not going to remember. The mothers who tell me they're not going to remember that. Just be there for these moments. Do this and this. So, give yourself
Right,
some
do what you
grace.
can
That's the
do.
other thing. Yeah, we got to give ourselves more grace and
Yeah.
asking for help. I kind of switched over to the next thing, didn't I? On the like the action step or tip. But
Oh,
it
sure. I
usually
just wanted to say one thing before we get there is that I don't know about you, but when I think back to my childhood, there are a handful of distinct memories.
Mhm.
And then most of it is just like, no, I felt loved. I knew my parents were there for me.
Right.
And it wasn't like I didn't remember that my mom worked all the time when they were trying to make ends meet. And that,
Right.
I remember that my dad made pretty good dinner, even though it was just like literally browned ground beef,
Mhm.
like just like
Yeah.
taco meat, but with no like it was just salt and pepper, like
There you
regular
go.
meat
Easy
with
peasy.
like mashed potatoes and ketchup, and it was like my favorite meal ever.
Yeah. And you're going back on those memories. Because my mom cleaned houses. And
Yeah.
so she would get houses just for us to clean so we would have money. And like learning and doing that with her was some of the best memories I've had because it was the time that we got to spend together doing it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you're doing, just being there and that your kids know you're there. I love that. And so moving to that next question here, give us your number one best tip to help with that feeling.
Well, like I said, spoiler alert, I kind of already gave it. Like, give yourself the grace. Give yourself the grace to make the mistake. Give yourself the grace to fall on your face with your kids because we all do. I mean, again, we all do. We all do. And just admit when you do. Give yourself the grace to do it and then say, look, I dropped the ball on that. It's great for a lot of reasons because you're teaching them how to give themselves grace when they make mistakes. And you're teaching them how to be authentic and own up to the things that they did or did not do. So it's great modeling behavior from a parenting perspective, but from your own stress level, it builds a relationship faster with your kids than anything. That would be my number one tip.
I think that is really powerful. And it's something that I think traditionally, older people are like, well, apologizing shows weakness and like you have to be in control all the time. And I think that's where a lot of us as parents have felt that struggle of, I need to do it all. I need to perform at a certain level all the time because the other side of it was weak or, that was just that's the perception. And you're talking about other people's perceptions and the comparison. I think that's really powerful and self-compassion and giving yourself that grace and owning up to mistakes and working to do better. I think that's what we all can hope for in people we love is that if we are hurt, that person acknowledges it and tries to fix it, tries to do better.
And we have this tendency to not express it. Like, we're both martial arts instructors. We both do martial arts, and we did a tournament this last weekend. And something happens at a tournament. It always happens at a tournament. We're human beings. We miss things. One of the students was really upset, and they were telling him, "Oh, no, don't say anything." I said, "No. You need to tell me what happened." And then when he told me what happened, I said, "I am so sorry. I did not realize that that's what the case was, and I apologize to you. I apologize for not." I said, "I'm human. I make mistakes." I said, "So thank you for sharing that with me." He immediately went from screaming, crying, and being upset to he just relaxed, right?
And what a valuable lesson showing that yes, even black belts make mistakes. And here's the way to deal with it. Here's how to deal with it. I had a similar situation in one of the classes I taught where we were going through the students and I kind of like just missed one. And she like came to me afterwards, a little ninja, like the little one, like a 4 or 5-year-old. And came to me after and said, you missed my turn. And I said, well, we better do it now. And I took her back on the floor to the corner where the other class was going. I said, show me what you got now. And I said, I am so sorry. See, even instructors make mistakes. And I was like, I celebrated her for coming to me, for raising her voice, for letting me know, because people go through the world. We're in our own little worlds.
Yes,
and we don't. It's usually thoughtlessness more than intentionally hurtful.
Exactly.
Right. We're not out here trying to make things rough.
No. And for that thing, like, and then I think my hands were tied because I think I agreed with the particular student that I didn't think it should have been a point. But there's a system, there's a way it's done, and then you just do it the way it is. And I told him how to handle it next time. Like, next time, do this. Because if I had known that, then I wouldn't have taken the same action. But I didn't know. I didn't see. And so he was like,
there's always those.
Those and we need to do that with ourselves. We need to do that with ourselves and with each other, right? Moms, like, we're professional women and moms, we always are hardest on each other instead of helpful. Right. Let's help each other. Let's, hey, let's help each other fix the crown. Like, be part of.
I hear what you're saying. It's that self-compassion and the compassion for others that we
Yeah.
get to cultivate to help ourselves through this struggle, because if we're helping other people, then our struggle might not seem as difficult, and
Exactly.
the people we are pouring into can then pour into us, whether it's the same person or a different person.
Yeah,
I
like
like
if you
I
just
like in the choir analogy, like we can't all, like, for the long notes, we can't
Mhm.
all breathe at the same time or the note won't hang. So we
Right.
each have to breathe at our own time. And so when it's like when one of us needs to breathe, the
That's
rest of us are holding up the
That's
note.
right, pick up the slack. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really where that's the tip. I've
Yeah.
been blessed to have a lot of women like that in my life.
Mhm.
Um, I look to create that a lot, and I look to
Mhm.
be that support for other women as much as I can. But that's the tip that I would give.
Awesome. So tell us where we can find you
Uh, where can you find
to
me? You can
build
find
that community and your community of women and people that
um,
you
you
empower
can
with
find
kindness.
me. So I wasn't. I know I should be prepared for this, but we've been doing a lot of changing with the marketing. So you can find me either at FMAA Fayetteville, or you can find me as the Confidence Coach on Twitter and LinkedIn. Like those are my two handles. If you're looking for me on TikTok or Instagram, on the
Yeah.
Confidence Ninja. So
Nice.
yeah, so
We
I'm
will
really,
make sure that that all gets in the comments. You can go back to the videos and make sure you comment the correct links. So make sure that I have them. We'll update them as your marketing
yeah,
evolves, because I know you're in a bit of a transition right now because you just
yeah,
moved and everything.
yeah. We
So
moved, and then
if you're in my audience, you need help finding Tracy and you want to connect with her, you get in touch with me, because I love Tracy. She's amazing. I will happily connect you
yeah,
wherever you need to be connected.
yay.
So that is Tracy's portion.
Now it's
We've got
Sarah's
interview, and
turn.
now you
We
get
help
to.
people adult. All right, are you ready, ma'am? I don't have access to the questions, so you're gonna have to pop them up on the
I'll put them up the
Yeah.
same way I did before.
So tell us who you are and what you do.
So who am I? I'm Sarah Deacon. I am the adulting coach, and I get to help teens and young adults figure out for themselves who they want to be when they grow up, so that they can have the courage to suck at something new, confidently decide how they want to live their own lives, and adult successfully.
Adult successfully. That is, I think I love that you use that because I think it has become a bit of a meme. Like I know
Mhm.
my college students are always like, "I'm adulting now," and it's kind of a meme, but it is a thing.
Yeah.
It is completely a thing.
And it
So
has a lot of negative associations to it.
yeah,
I actually just bought the domain adultingisfun, because I believe adulting is fun.
I like
And
that
I
you're.
want to change the conversation. And
I
I
was gonna
like it
say
because
you're on a
people argue with
mission.
me. Your college student, they'll argue with me. Really? It's not fun. And it's no, it can be. And that's what I work on with my coaching and with my clients,
Okay,
is how do we shift that?
how do you shift that thinking? So then, what is the one superpower your clients have?
Well, I love these conversations because it comes back to a couple of things you said.
Mhm.
The authenticity,
Yeah.
I think, is their biggest superpower, because they, places like TikTok, I see I love watching the progression videos. Like, here's
Mhm.
the crappy drawings I made in middle school or grade school. And then that evolution to, like, look at the, like, amazing portraits that I'm doing now. So, like, people, they're not afraid to put their like little messy stuff or their mistakes out there, and they're really keen in on seeing and connecting with the authenticity in other people.
Okay. All right.
So that's what I've noticed, is that they can sniff out the BS. If you're
Okay.
not showing up authentically,
I
they can
gotcha. So
sniff it out.
they've got a good sniffer.
They got a good sniffer.
Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
they know. Yeah, I get that.
If
Yeah,
you're
they
not walking your talk, they
yeah,
don't have any time for you.
and nor respect. Nor
Right.
respect.
And
Right?
they're just gonna walk. They're just
Mhm. I like
they don't
that.
care.
I like
They don't
that.
have any attachment to, like, putting up with something that
So,
doesn't,
and
that's just
that's a
purpose.
double-edged sword too,
Oh,
because
it can be.
right? Because, like, that's where we get less respect in other ways, but I like it that we have to earn it,
Mhm.
right? We have to earn it with them versus,
Yeah.
I think adults think, "Well, I'm the adult and you should respect me." Well, we still have to earn that respect by being authentic and doing the things. I like that, I like being in that place. It keeps me working towards me. I love
Yeah.
that. Nice. Alright, so then what is their biggest challenge?
So the struggle comes with kind of like you were saying, that comparison.
Mm,
Like, they're still in this transition phase, like going from adolescence to adulthood,
mhm,
where it's natural and normal for them to be trying out different ways of being. And
right.
yes, the way they're being right now is authentic to them in the moment,
Mhm,
and it may not be authentic to them forever.
right.
And that's okay, and that's normal.
And it's so weird because
The
we know
struggle
this. Yeah, but they go to school and they're told they have to be this kind of student or that kind of student.
Right, and the struggle
Mm,
is how they make sense of what's really authentic to them versus what's authentic to where I wanna belong or what
right.
I wanna do or what somebody else that I care about is doing or cares about.
Mhm, so what does
And
it sound
it's
like? So for the parents that are listening that maybe don't know that their teen is or their young adults having is on the struggle bus with this, what should they be listening for?
That's a really, really good question, and most of the time, it can show up different like, it shows up in all sorts of different ways, and
Okay.
the main thing is just to pay attention.
Mm,
When things change, get curious about why that change is. Like, if they change their opinion about something, like, really
mm,
drastically, or if
okay.
they change the way they dress really out of nowhere, get curious about, well, who are they spending their time with and what are they consuming as far as media, YouTube, video games, who are they interacting with, and getting
Okay.
curious about it because it might not be a bad thing, the change
Right.
in behavior, dress, attitude, whatever. It might not be that like a warning sign or anything like that. It just might be a opportunity for exploring a self-expression. So
Mhm.
getting curious, oh, why are you into that thing? Oh, where did you hear about it? Who are you going to that concert with? Or who are you playing that game with? Where did
Okay.
you find out about the thing? And getting curious is um a great idea because yeah, the signal that there might be a struggle is there's a change in attitude, behavior. Maybe they start really, really talking back, and that could be normal, and it could be a
Mhm.
sign that there's something influencing
Okay.
how
Some
they
good
think they're
behavior.
supposed to be, that kind of thing.
Okay. Alright, excellent. So then when you're seeing that, it's hard to answer that question without going into the tip part. So what is
Right,
your
I
biggest
know.
tip or action step for, like, you just said get curious.
Right.
So, yeah, what is
Yeah,
what
especially for the from the parents' end.
Mhm.
And honestly, from both, because when I work with the young people, I'm not invested in how they should be.
Okay.
I get curious about who they are
Okay.
and what is actually going on without any attachment to like, well,
Mhm.
you need to be this type of student or this type of athlete or whatever it is.
Mhm.
So yeah, curiosity is a big, big thing. And I love getting teaching the young people how to get curious about themselves
Okay.
and how to really sit with asking themselves the question, what's going on?
Okay.
Why am I feeling that way? What is the feeling doing in my body? So that they really, another superpower they have is this self-awareness.
Okay.
They're talking about mental health. They're talking about who they are, who they want to be, what they like, the inauthenticity that they see in
Mhm.
people or the fakeness or whatever that they see. And then it's like it can be really, really hard to turn that back on themselves
Yeah, that
and
mirror.
say, okay, how am I also that way? Or what do I really think about
Well, and
this
it's
or
also,
that?
like you
So
said, the
getting curious about
self-awareness.
yourself as well as other people.
Yeah, being aware that you change those standards depending on where you are sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes one person will say something to you and it's like an absolute no, like 0 to 60, they're going to get angry, where someone else can do the same thing and they'll be like, "Oh,
I.e.
sorry."
mom and dad.
Yeah. Yeah. Or we even had this encounter with siblings, right?
Yeah.
And a third party. That
Mhm.
it's just good that you start teaching them how to check in with themselves.
Right.
Most
And
of the
that's
time, yeah, people that don't saying, "Don't feel that way, don't do that, don't
right.
cry, don't express yourself," instead of teaching
Right.
them how to do
Well,
it.
and so many grown people have trouble with
Mhm.
identifying feelings, emotions, allowing emotions and moving through them, kind of like how you were talking about giving yourself self-compassion,
Mhm.
grace to make mistakes, to mess up, to fall on your face and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So that is really a practice,
It is.
and there needs to be a safe way to explore that and express that
Mhm.
as far as supporting people through it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that would be a tip, is just curiosity. um and if
Paying
if you're
attention.
having trouble with curiosity as a parent, take some time to
Yeah,
take care of yourself
reflect.
before
Yeah.
you go in with
Yeah.
a accusation or what you think about what's
Right.
going on.
And I find that when you're having conversations with the kids, right? So my boys are grown and I've got the grandbabies now, is just saying, "Hey, when you did that, that hurt my feelings."
Yeah.
Always surprises them. Like when they realize they have the power to impact you that way, it
Yeah.
always surprises them. So I always tell them, like, when you say things like that, it hurts my feelings and it makes
Yeah.
me feel like this and this. Did you realize that? And they're always like, "Well, no, Mimi, I didn't realize that." And
Yeah.
then we can talk about it. But when you start with your feelings, it's easier for them to talk about their feelings.
Yeah.
That's one way
I
that I
love
think.
asking I ask my kids, "What are you feeling and where are you feeling it?"
Mm,
Because the body signals to us what the
mhm,
feelings are, and there
mhm.
are ways to identify and express it. There's the feelings wheel. My high schoolers at church love the feelings wheel because then they can really pinpoint
Yeah.
what's actually going on.
Mhm.
And about getting curious, I wasn't gonna put this up, but I'm gonna post my teen talk tactics,
Yeah, I
because
love that one. It's so
that
good. It is a good
that is
guide.
a guide for
Yeah.
parents. It's a great link, and we'll go back and drop that in the comments. I think I can only comment on YouTube, but we'll figure it out later.
We'll figure it out.
But that
Yeah.
is a really, it's a great tool that I
Mhm.
came up with to help with conversations starting between parents and teens, because it can be really hard and contentious, especially when big things are happening.
Mhm. And especially if they're not used to you being curious.
Exactly,
Then they
exactly.
get like, "Why are you all up in my business?" Like,
Right. So
why
we
are you
get the sort
arguing?"
of the entry level questions, and then we go deeper and deeper still
Yeah.
in that guide. So if you want to grab the Teen Talk Tactics, go on over to my website,
Mhm.
sarahdeacon.com/tactics, to grab that download. It's awesome. And I think that was the last question, is where can they
Yeah,
find me?
where
And
can
we'll
you
just
go
say there, go to
to?
there, and you can
Yeah,
find me there.
yeah, go there. So great stuff.
If they're watching here, I'm Sarah Deacon Coach at all the socials
Mhm.
everywhere. And that is
Everywhere, everywhere.
where we can
Yeah,
find me.
good stuff. That's why we were so excited when we got to meet each other, because we are like, wow, we really do things from different the polar opposites, the way we do. Like, just think when we make a family sandwich, how effective we are. Right? Adults,
Yeah.
you have the kids, we get them producing and
Right. And the
communicating.
martial arts background, I think, is just such a powerful
Yeah,
place where I think powerful coaches come from.
that's right. Because yeah.
Yeah, because we both have that background of that
Mhm.
discipline, but also the compassion and the way we're building successful adults, whether it's adultier adults like you work with the parents,
Mhm.
the moms specifically, and the entrepreneurs, or the younger
Yeah.
folks, the teens, adolescents, the young
Mhm.
adults, trying to figure out what they're doing with their
And
life.
like you said,
And
I think with us, what we both feel that the martial arts is the safe space.
yeah,
Although a lot of people who don't train don't understand how the karate school is the safe space. It's because we encourage failing epically, right? We encourage the effort. We
yeah,
encourage the going all in and looking ugly but being scary. Like I don't care what you that look like. I'm gonna still kick your butt. So that's like where people who don't understand what the martial arts school can do, you can definitely check out one like wherever you are,
yeah.
so that you can see it can be that safe space. So if you're not sure how to create one,
Hmm.
there are organizations that are in your communities, and we got to do this last month when we were doing our parenting with purpose. Is there other places in the community that you can bring your kids to get that support? Right, you've got me, you've
Absolutely.
got Sarah, you've got martial arts schools, and you've got like rock clubs. Just go get curious
Right.
about
There's an
what's in the area.
activity.
Yeah, there
And
is.
what you wanna look for are those values that
Mhm,
create safety, that they're not just like a poster on the wall saying, "We believe in respect and discipline and integrity," and
mhm,
all that they're actually walking the talk like we talked about, that they're showing up authentically. And that's,
mhm.
with business people too and entrepreneurs, that's something that's so powerful in a
Mhm.
world full of so much noise, is
Right.
getting to know the person behind the business.
Yes.
Why are they doing what they're doing? I mean, I love your business. If I was in North Carolina, I would be visiting you all the time
We do it.
because I think you are awesome. and 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 it's one of those safe places
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
learn, to grow, to fail, to get back up again.
Mhm. To have someone cheer you on,
Yeah.
right? Cheer
To have
you on.
someone celebrate that
Yeah.
you made the mistake, that
Yeah.
you spoke up,
To
that
help you
you
see that, yeah, you did that, but this part was so much better. Right? Yeah, that part not
yep,
so much, but this part right here, that was
right.
really good.
Right, because
And
that's
you
when
do.
that's when we get that's when that fire gets under us, when we see some success, when we see that momentum.
Yeah.
So, for sure, 100%. Well, do you have any final thoughts or anything else you wanna share that we did
With
not share?
No, I think the final
We're
thought
right
is,
about 32 minutes
yeah,
here, so, like, we
I
did
think
good.
the
We
final
came
thought
in.
is, yeah, go get curious. You're not alone. I mean, that's the other big thing I like to talk about a lot. You are not by yourself in this. It does take a village. It takes a village for us to create the human beings that we want to create, to put into the world, to change it. So that's what I'd like to say. Go. We're all out there to help you.
Alright, I'm gonna take my banner down there. Alright. Yes, that's true, we are. And community is so important.
Yes.
And that's something, again, that I see people wanna pull back from the world and isolate themselves and just be on the screens, and
No.
it it works until it doesn't,
Yeah.
and we need each other.
Yeah.
Whether it is connecting through a screen this way, which it's beautiful that I can connect with Tracy from
Mhm.
Wisconsin to North
Yeah.
Carolina, and we
Yeah.
met each other and became friends, and
And
it's
we met each
awesome.
other through someone in Pennsylvania,
In
right?
Pennsylvania and New York, and
In New
yeah.
York, yeah. So, yeah, but
Right.
there's
So
something
community is
yeah.
important, and find some place you do feel safe, whether it is an online space or
Mhm.
someplace in person that you can go, a martial arts school or a
Yeah.
dance school or a
The rock
other
club, and
activity,
there's
rock
just so
climbing,
many.
billiards, bowling,
I
whatever
mean,
it
my
is.
boys grew up in football, like, my
Yeah.
boys grew up in football.
Mhm.
I chose martial arts. I mean, there's just go find it, and don't
Mhm.
quit. If you go the
Right.
first few and it's not the right place because 'cause they're not being authentic, it's okay.
Then
It's
there's some place out there that's gonna be right for
Yeah,
you.
there's a spot for you. You just have to be persistent and committed to finding it. So,
Yes, 100%. Well, thank you so much for doing this today, Tracy. I can't wait to talk to you again on Wednesday.
Wednesday, we're doing it
So
again.
we'll do something a little bit different, I bet.
A little different, yeah. We're gonna talk a little bit different. We're gonna get into some nitty-gritty, um,
Great.
Yeah,
Love it.
some nitty-gritty stuff for the parents and helping the parents work with their kids with adult.
Fantastic.
All
Well,
right.
again, if you did stick with us through the whole replay, use the hashtag replay as you're commenting and let us know if you have any other questions or any other people you would want to see on this live. Any
That's
type of
right.
person, anything. I probably know somebody. I know a few people.
Yeah.
So we will get there. Find Tracy at the Confidence Coach and
Mhm.
FamilyMAA.com.
Family MAA. Yep, FamilyMAA.com.
That's the one. And you can find me, well, right here and at
Yeah.
Sarah Deacon Coach on the socials, sarahdeacon.com on the web, or adultingisfun. That one.
Adulting is fun. I like that one. I'm gonna
It
help. I'm
is.
gonna help you with that. I'm gonna get on that mission with you.
It's a fun one. I'll send you a t-shirt. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Thanks, Tracy. Thanks,
All right.
everyone, for watching. We'll see you next
Bye.
time.